We were in a good position coming down to day 2. We were in 3rd place overall at Ultimate Callout Challenge, which we spent all up until the final day, when it all came down to the sled pulls, and we were up in the standings the entire time, which is nothing to shrug off either. So we went in the sled pulling day. The truck was running great. No issues out of our Muldoon's transmission. No issues out of our Freedom Racing engine. Just the truck was doing its job. We went out to dinner every night. Some of these teams were there at midnight changing transmissions, and we were going out to eat. And for that to happen in UCC competition, it doesn't happen for a lot of folks. So we were sitting very good in that way. So we went and did our sled pull. We were 6th in the lineup. And I've never sled pulled either before. So it was kind of stress to me, and Derek made me watch some of the, or suggested I watch some of the first sled pullers. And, you could see the people who were more inexperienced than others with how they'd take off. And, the sled pullers would kind of gradually bring it up to try and get some momentum, whereas a lot of your drag racers or less experienced guys would just kind of blow the tires off a little more. So tried to take the approach of the sled pullers and try and ease out and get on the thing, and that's what we did. We also were shifting the truck manually. We put a lockup switch in it, which was another funny thing. I built this creature, and the first thing anybody who has had a 48 RE truck and wants to do a little bit of performance does is they put a lockup switch in. Derek actually wired it, but I have still never actually installed a lockup switch. I've never, pinned the wire and all that. That's one of the most basic things that you can do to these trucks is put a lockup switch in, and I still have not done that, as amazing as that is. So anyway, we had 5 competitors before us. We went up to the sled pull. I was not nervous until it was about my time to sled pull. Then I actually got a little nervous. But we got hooked up to it, and I just remembered what Derek kept drilling into my head about easing out. That's what we did. I brought the truck up, started easing out of the hole, got on it, locked the converter, we shifted it, and down the track we went.
Turba Tom comes in at 293.47, 293 and 47.
Sled pulling, that is a very different feeling. I was completely worried that I would enjoy it way too much and want to build a sled pull only truck. I can tell you now that it is not, for me, as exciting as drag racing, so we will not be building a sled pulling truck. But it was just a very weird feeling because this thing is just singing at whatever RPM it was at. I mean, it's just going, your foot's to the floor, and it just doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. But once again, it was like the dyno. It was like over in an instant. And next thing I know, I hear a bang, and we're stopped. So I didn't think anything of it. And actually, like the drag racing after we made our number, Justin Ziegler and Trevor Peterson, they were the first two competitors. They came over to where we were pitted, and they congratulated me on my passes in the 8th mile. Well, they were two of the first people that I remember coming up when we were done the sled pull. There might have been a couple more. It just, I'll be honest, there's so much going on. But those two came over, made sure I was okay, which made me very confused at the time until I saw the video later. They wanted to make sure I was okay because the back end of the truck actually came up off the track. I was fully harnessed in my 5-point harness like I was drag racing. So I guess I felt it was normal, or, you know, like I said, it all kind of happened in like a split second in my eye. And I just thought the sled stopped me. I did hear a bang, so I thought something broke. So I don't know what the bang was, or if it was just the back of the truck landing, but we did a little endo with a sled attached to us. So, yeah, we got drug off the sled pulling track. So, all right, something's bad. You know, my first inclination was our engine. But didn't know, you know, people around us were throwing out all kinds of different ideas. We'd let the truck cool down at the end of the track, watch some sled pulling, and then I got the itch, and we pulled 293.47 feet, which put us in 8th place total for the sled pull. I think whatever happened wouldn't have happened. We might have been pretty close to that 300-foot mark. The truck was starting to peter out, but you know, getting that 300-foot mark for your first pull would have been really cool to do. Just kind of like, it's kind of like the 2K for the dyno kind of thing. But we didn't quite make it. At that point, I really wasn't concerned with anything other than my engine because I wanted to know what broke on the truck. I didn't see drive shafts hanging. There was no fluid leaking. So we let the truck cool off a little bit. Started it. It took a little more than normal, but it started right up. No banging, nothing out of the ordinary. Sounded good. Shut it off, watched a few more sled pulls, started it up again, hopped in, put her in drive, heard a big old clunk, but it moved. So, all right. So we went over, we enjoyed the ceremonies, you know, see all the competitors get their awards. We got 3rd in the drag race, which I'm very happy of. 6th overall in UCC 21, which is phenomenal for, I think, for a first time competitor and a garage built truck. Once again, I don't think we would have done as well without the guidance of the guys from DNR, guys and girl. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And congratulations to everybody who placed. Congratulations to all the competitors. I know everybody worked hard to get there. Some people had more struggles than we did. We really got out unscathed until sled pull day. Which is another achievement I'm pretty proud of. Not a lot of UCC competitors can claim that. But end of the day, we got done seeing everybody get all their awards. Congratulated everyone and all that because it's well deserved. You know, none of those guys got there by accident. And they all hustled and they performed well. And it was a very tight competition, which I thought was great. You know, if I was a spectator and it was like you looked at the points, you're like, man, any one of these guys could get this. That's awesome. So went back and my father asked me if we're going to tow the truck back to the trailer, and I said, I'm going to try and drive it back. So that's what I did. Truck started right up. I put her in gear, drove her back to the pits. We moved stuff around, started loading up, and I actually loaded the truck onto the trailer, which, once again, is not something every UCC competitor can claim. And that's why it was at the beginning of this video partially ripped apart, is because the first thing I wanted to do when I got home is figure out what happened. If you guys in the comments have any idea what you think happened, let me know. But if you watch the sled pulling video, it seems like something stalled the engine. It rolled about another foot, and then we kind of did one of these things. My first thought was front diff. That seems good. I drained transfer case and the transmission. Those both seem good. So we're going to have to start ripping stuff apart until we can figure out what caused this thing to stop so abruptly. But I don't know. So anyway, put your your thoughts on that down below. So, guys, I know this has been a long-winded video. I just wanted to recap you on the whole UCC experience. It was a great experience. I will be back. That is for sure. And I plan on bringing it. I'm already thinking of plans for 22. I want to try and get some more dynos under my belt. Maybe some more sled pulls if I can figure out what went wrong, what happened at the end of our pool. But I want to try and get better at those things. And that way we're not going in like we were this year, but with only, one dyno pool. Now, I want to have more than that under my belt. So, yeah, like I said, great experience. And one of the coolest parts I thought about it was, well, first off, meeting a lot of you guys was great. And I'm sorry if we're back there working on the truck. And if I blew you off or anything, sorry, my mind was elsewhere. But I met a lot of you guys. It was great. And I got a ton of compliments on how many people enjoyed the fact that we built this truck here in the garage. And I really do appreciate that and take that to heart. That's just amazing. And guys coming up, hey, I did a head gasket because of you. That stuff's really, really cool, and I appreciate it so much. And eventually, a lot of you were asking. Eventually, we will get some T-shirts or something figured out. Had a lot of questions about that, but yeah. So once again, UCC was a great experience. The other thing that was cool, other than meeting all you guys, the competitors. All the competitors were willing to bend over backwards to help each other. Like I said, a couple times, Trevor Peterson and Justin Ziegler come over and they congratulated me on my passes, my dyno pool, whatever it was. And it was like that with everybody. Met some people that I've talked to online, like Kenny Bruner from California. His truck is wow. If you like this, Kenny built that truck all himself too, and his level of detail is wow. That truck is a beautiful piece of work. But just meeting all these different people and, all the competitors wanted to help each other out so much. Like I said, Trevor pulled that solenoid off his truck like that. I mean, I can't snap my fingers right now for some reason. But he pulled it off, gave it to me, good luck. And, just that to me was the best part, when you have a competition like that and everybody's wanting to compete, but they want everybody else to compete as well. Nobody wanted to win on a technicality. Everybody just wanted to win on their own merit, how their truck performed, and everybody wanted to see everybody else perform. That to me was awesome. That the diesel industry has that kind of camaraderie. My understanding of the gas world's a bit different to that, and not in a good way. And I don't want to ever see that change. I mean, as a competitor, I think that's just awesome. Guys are willing to help each other out like that. It's really cool. So, like I said, this was a bit of a long-winded video. My focus was completely on doing well at the competition. I'm very happy with how we placed. I can Monday morning quarterback all I want, but we did well, and I will be back. I plan on being on that podium at some point. I mean, that's what I went out there for. I didn't just go out there to just try and do well. I went out there to win. That was my focus, and it still is. And we're going to make this truck faster, lighter, better, and we're going to keep trying to gain that knowledge to do it. So once again, thanks to all you guys for saying hi and supporting the channel, all that. It really is appreciated. I love meeting you guys when I have time to talk to you. I tried to talk to you as much as I could at UCC, but we had stuff going on at some points. But I don't think I got the full UCC experience because I wasn't up till midnight working on the truck a bunch of nights. We actually went out to dinner each night and was in bed by 10 o'clock. So I think that's a testament to the companies we work with. Freedom for this awesome engine. This thing is a horse, and we're just figuring out the potential of it. I gotta see if this camera's still on. I've been talking so long. Oh, all right, yeah. Sorry, like I said, long-winded video, but freedom for this awesome engine. This thing, it's everything I wanted and way more, and we're just scratching the surface. The guys at Fluid Amper and the guys at AirDog with the our fuel filter head, Fluid Amper for our damper. Those two guys have supported me and what I'm doing with the truck and the channel since the very beginning, and I can't thank those two companies enough. Along with Freedom, Fleece, you know, they're kind of like one and the same in my eyes, but all those guys are great. Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and like anything you need, that just great companies to work with. Our Muldoon's transmission gave us 0 fits. If something in that trans possibly let loose on the sled pull, it wasn't something John did. It was probably a hard part. If, you know, it was something. I mean, I have no idea. I'm just speculating, but that thing took everything we threw out at it. I think it's his first trans to see 2,000 horsepower. It's probably the fastest trans that he's had. I don't know if he's had anybody else run a 533. And even before that, we put a lot of passes on it at Rudy's and whatnot, and the trans took it and had no more than the mild maintenance we expected. And I'm just thrilled with it. I mean, we didn't have to use our spare transmission. Once again, I'd rather have it and not use it. But yeah, John and the guy, and Tommy and the guys there at Muldoon's are great. Highly recommend them. And they've really supported what we are doing here with the race truck, and I can't thank them enough. Ryan and the guys at Hardway, they were killer. Ryan has gotten the tuning on this thing dialed in. We've been refining it and changing some stuff. You know, the entire time we've had it together, we're finally getting it really dialed in. Ryan and the guys from Hardway also provided our dyno wheels and tires. So when we were doing all this, I was asking, you know, what should I get? What do I need to find? And Ryan said, don't worry, we'll bring you up our dyno tires. So the wheels and tires we had on the back of this truck are the wheels that he runs on trucks, you know, 4 trucks on his dyno, and he brought them up all the way from Florida for us to use. So yeah, definitely thanks to those guys too. This thing put down 2,000 horse almost by accident with me driving it incorrectly on the dyno, if you will. So that just shows what they're doing there. And through the guys at Hardway, we got our G57 turbo, our GT55 88 millimeter that we run in the drags and all that. We got our turbo setup from them. Our S&S 12 mil pumps came from them. Our S&S ordnance injectors came from them. All S&S fuel system, but it would all come through Hardway Performance. That's who we deal with for a lot of this stuff. When we found out we were going to UCC, I got a hold of Ryan. I said, what do I need for air? And that's where the G57 came in, and it looks really gnarly on the truck. I mean, that thing came right up. So if you guys are looking for performance stuff, you know, it doesn't have to be just, you know, 5.9 tuning. Our Menser coilovers came from those guys. You know, they know the performance world. And that's who we deal with when we have stuff like that. And that's kind of what's made this truck be able to do what it does, is I know my limitations. I know that you know, rather than just ordering something at a Summit for coilovers, call up a company that you trust and deals with this kind of stuff, and they can help you get the right components. So you're not buying stuff 2 or 3 times. You know, when we knew what we were doing with this engine, we had Ryan involved, we had the guys at Freedom involved, so our tuning, our engine, our fueling, our turbo setup, so everything worked together. Rather than just slapping something together, like an engine from here and then fueling from here and then just giving it to the tuner and saying, make this work, got everybody involved when we first built the truck, or when we first brought it to this level, to make sure all these components were dialed in. And I think that's a very critical part of what's making this truck work. Like I said, we're just scratching the surface. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Yeah, I guess am I? As far as building the truck, I think that's about it of the people who have been supporting the truck and continue to support the truck and what we do. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Oh, Santra Performance Development helped us out with that input shaft, that fat input. That is another reason that we didn't continue drag racing on drag day. Our spare transmission does not have that Santra shaft, and I did not want to try and shoot for like a 3,000 foot-pound torque number with the input shaft that was in the spare. The spare trans has a fat input, but I wanted that Santra shaft. So I really was, you know, I was happy with our positioning, and our spare trans doesn't have that shaft, so I really didn't feel as comfortable with it as I did with this transmission. So shout out to Santra Performance Development as well. So I think that's all of them. I'm probably forgetting somebody. There's been a lot of people help out with this thing, and you know, not physically work on it, but with information, so on and so forth. And I guess at the end of the video here, thanks again to Derek, Nicole, and Dylan. I couldn't have done it without them. It would have been a lot less pleasurable experience without their hospitality. They brought their trailer down and kind of like what's ours is yours kind of deal. Put us under a nice canopy so we didn't have to deal with the sun. And, you know, they had their generator going for us, an air compressor the whole time. And, you know, Derek, Nicole, and Dylan kind of mentoring me a little along the way. And like I said, hopefully I can repay that and pay that forward to someone else down the road when I become that older veteran of doing this. So thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I know there's no way I can ever repay you, so hopefully I can pass it forward later on. So, guys, I know this was a very long-winded video with a few clips of the truck, but I just wanted to give you a recap for those subscribers who have stuck with me all this time and really support the truck. So that's our UCC weekend. Happy with our results. Had a couple mild heart attacks or strokes there on dyno day. But other than that, it was not a very stressful experience. Like I said, other than that was enough for the whole weekend that morning. But other than that, it was a good experience. Met a lot of nice people. And, yeah, we'll be back in 22. And hopefully we can improve our position. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage. Get the wrench on your truck.